So let us start. Very good morning to one and all. Honorable Chairman Dr. Mohan Babu Garu, Sri Vidyaniketan Education Trust, Revered Chief Executive Officer Sri Manchu Vishnu Garu, Sri Vidyaniketan Education Institutions, respected advisor Dr. L. Venugopal Reddy Garu, and respected Director Finance and Administration Sri B. Ravisekhar Garu, Sri Vidyaniketan Educational Institutions, respected Principal Dr. B. M. Satish Garu, and respected Director Academics and Research Dr. P. Giridhar Reddy Garu, Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, respected eminent speaker Dr. C. Velan Navargal, City Head Chennai Operations and Pan India Head for Property Management at Ascendas India, Capital Island, India. Respected eminent speaker Dr. Anil Joseph Tangal, Managing Director of Seacons Private Limited, Cochin, and Director of Geostructurals Private Limited and Director of Engineers Diagnostic Center Private Limited, Cochin. Respected principals, vice principals, deans, and heads of various departments of Sri Vidyaniketan Education Institutions, and my dear participants, delegates, faculties, and students from various reputed universities and colleges, and staff members from industries, and my dear colleagues and student friends of Sri Vidyaniketan Education Institutions. I wholeheartedly welcome you all for the National Webinar on Environmental Sustainability to celebrate the World Environment Day today. Just a minute, please. So as you know, every year June 5th is observed as the World Environment Day to raise the awareness on damage caused by the human activities to the environment, to enrich our knowledge on environmental damage and its consequences and the challenges that we are facing today to overcome the environmental issues. We have with us eminent speakers Dr. C. Velan Navargal and Dr. Anil Joseph Tangal, who are most involved in these activities. So let us listen to them and do what best we can do to protect our environment. And also my heartfelt thanks to both the eminent speakers and good orators as well, Dr. C. Velan Navargal and Dr. Anil Joseph Navargal, for their acceptance to be with us on this August occasion to observe the World Environment Day. So once again, my warm welcome to you all for this national webinar on sustainable environment. Now, may I request our beloved Principal Dr. B. M. Satish Garu to give inaugural address. Sir, unmute, sir. Principal, sir, unmute.
Yes. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. So at the outset, my hearty greetings for the day. The 5th of June, 2021 is a World Environment Day with the concept of ecosystem restoration. The theme for the World Environment Day 2021 is ecosystem restoration. Like at the outset, my congratulations to the convener and the coordinator, Dr. Himadri Prasad Raju and Mr. Kuldeep Ji, respectively, for organizing this particular activity on behalf of SV Engineering College. So organized by the Social Entrepreneurship, Swachhta and Rural Management Cell, SES REC, along with the NSS unit. I greet all the participants for the day. And of course, let me thank the resource persons for the day, Dr. C. Velan and Dr. Anil Joseph. I don't think I should be taking much time because time is quite valuable now and we have lost like almost an hour. I'm very sorry for whatever has happened. So the World Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June every year across the globe. So to work on to mark the importance of nature and environment, and to tell people and remind them, of course, see, look at the time, it's time to remind everyone that nature should not be taken for granted and must be respected for its values and for our own good. And yes, we have to come together as it can provide us an opportunity to widen our understanding and the responsible conduct of ourselves. Not only ourselves, it can be by the communities itself, by the enterprises. And of course, on this occasion, the governments, organizations, and every individual should come together to put their efforts for a particular environmental issue to generate awareness among ourselves. And yes, it is ecosystem restoration, the theme for World Environment Day 2021. Now there's a time that has come. Of course, we are all lucky to be part of this particular generation where we are seeing rapid technological changes. But at the same time, we are also seeing on the negative side, like good number of things are depleting at a very, very fast rate. We are seeing undue changes in the landscapes, lakes, rivers, oceans, and it is time for us all to see that we also provide whatever minimum efforts that can be possible from our side to help nature, to help Mother Earth to regain her ecological functionality. So this can be done, this has to be done to improve the quality of the environment and definitely the life within it. The imbalance in the rainfalls, the floods, the untimely rainfalls, the floods, droughts are all mainly because of the results of ecological imbalances. So it is understood that if proper rains need to happen, then we need to have a good number of forests, but deforestation is taking place at a rapid rate. So that should not happen. So we need to restore forests. This is one simple aspect that I have put it forward. Of course, as we go throughout the day, our resource persons for the day will enlighten us more on these aspects. So I thank the organizers for providing me an opportunity to speak on this occasion. I wish everybody a happy World Environment Day, and we'll all come together to do our bit for Mother Nature. Thank you.
I request Dr. M. Kesavulu, Research Professor, Department of EBH, to introduce our respected eminent speaker, Dr. Anil Joseph.
Yeah. Can you all hear me now? I think you can all hear me. So good morning, everyone. I have immense pleasure in introducing today's speaker, Dr. Anil Joseph Garu. And please let me read his profile. He has actually a long profile, but I will make it very brief, and I'll just read out his profile. And Dr. Anil Joseph has done his graduation and post-graduation in civil engineering from NIT Surat. He was awarded PhD from NIT Calicut on his work on pre-compression of soft marine clays, and from Open International University on his work on pre-stressing and hollow shell technology in earthquake-resistant construction. He is the director of Geostructurals Private Limited, a leading foundation and structural consultancy firm based at Cochin. He has provided foundation and structural consultancy for more than 2,000 high-rise structures, including many landmark multi-storied and infrastructure projects in India and abroad in the last 28 years. His design of a Nippon Toyota showroom at Kalamassery Platinum Mall at Maradu Lulu Grand Hyatt Hotel and Convention Center, Bolgati Island, Kochi, Hyatt Regency Hotel and Convention Center, Thrissur, and Train Green Logan Resort at Kochi has won the ICI Ultratech Award for Outstanding concrete structure of Kerala in the building category in the year 2012, 2017, 2018, and 2020 respectively. He is the managing director of Seacons Private Limited, a consortium, a construction firm specialized in the execution of pile foundation, and also the director of Engineers Diagnostic Center Private Limited, a firm specialized in geotechnical investigation and retrofitting works. He was a National Executive Committee member of the Indian Geotechnical Society from 2012 to 2020 and is representing India in International Technical Committee TC220 on field monitoring in geomechanics and in Asian Technical Committee ASRTC 14 on smart observation methods. He is the member of State Committee in Institution of Engineers Civil Division, Executive Committee member of Institution of Engineers Kochi Local Center, the immediate past president of Association of Structural and Geotechnical Consultants, Kerala, vice chairman of Indian Concrete Institute, Kochi chapter, immediate past state president of Graduate Association of Civil Engineers, the past president of Association of Piling Specialists, Kerala, honorary secretary of Indian Geotechnical Society, Kochi chapter, executive committee member of Builders Association of India, Cochin chapter, member of Association of Contracting Engineers, managing committee member of Kerala Management Association, and an adjunct faculty of Albertian Institute of Science and Technology, Cochin. Dr. Anil Joseph is also involved in various social activities such as Vice President of Regional Sports Center, Kadavantara, Cochin, Assistant Governor of Rotary District 3201, Joint Secretary of Kankur Foundation, etc. He was one among the top 10 Diamond Hall of Fame New Age Icon Change Makers 2020. So he has many credentials, but because I wanted to make it very brief, so this is only a brief profile of our eminent speaker Anil Joseph Garu. And now I am very amazed to read the profile of a great person. And now I invite our today's speaker to take over the session.
Yeah, thank you,
Sir.
Dr. Keshavel sir, for the warm introduction. It was a pleasure, and I'm very happy that I am here today with Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, Tirupati, where I have my classmate and friend, Dr. Prasad Raju, with as an associate professor there. So it's a great pleasure for me to share this, come over for this program and share my knowledge in this World Environment Day, which is a very important day for especially considering the sustainability requirement of the world. Can you permit me to share the screen right now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also, I would like to say my greetings to Dr. Ishwara Reddy, who is a student of Professor Madhav, one of the most leader of the Geotechnical Society, and we are all worshipper of Dr. Madhav and he's an expert in geotechnical engineering. And thank you, Dr. Ishwara Reddy, for your this thing. Helpfully, I was able to log into this session. And can I share the screen right now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so thank you, Hemadri Prasad Raju, once again. We were roommates and neighboring rooms and classmates during our college lifetime in SVRC. And today we are on 5th of June, which is considered as the World Environment Day. And the theme of this year is reimagine, recreate, and restore. So we have to think differently, reimagine, recreate, and restore for our environment. So that is the theme today. Ecosystem restoration, that is the concept which we'll have to look into. And this ecosystem restoration has to happen with reimagine, recreate, and restore are the methodology which we have to look into. Now let us see a small video
Yes, sir. I have a small request, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
There is no sound while playing video. I think the.
Sorry. So we are not able to hear that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Next slide onwards, we will try to just check up.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So World Environment Day. You can see the screen now, and you can hear me talk, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. World Environment Day is the United Nations principal vehicle for encouraging worldwide awareness and action for the environment. It also serves as the People's Day for doing something positive for the environment, galvanizing individual actions into a collective power that generates an exponential positive impact on the planet. 7 billion dreams, one planet, so we have to consume with care. The well-being of humanity, the environment and functioning of the economy ultimately depend upon the responsible management of the planet's natural resources. people are consuming far more natural resources than what the planet can sustainably provide. By 2050, if current consumption and production patterns remain the same and with a rising population expected to reach 960 crores, we will need 3 planets to sustain our ways of living and consumption. So these are the current issues. We have overpopulation, deforestation, biodiversity loss, fuel crisis, energy crisis, urbanization, food crisis, water pollution, ozone hole, climate change, greenhouse effects. These are some of the most important environmental problems which we have to address. So let me try this video, and can you please confirm whether the volume is?
You can click on the more option button and share sound. You can click on the option which can be seen under the more button. Click on that more button and click share sound.
Now can you hear that?
Yeah, now it is good, sir. Thank you.
Lot of trees are getting cut, so we have to save the trees for, like our children. We have to make sure. And why we have to take care? Earth provides enough to satisfy man's need, but not every man's greed. So that is the words of Mahatma Gandhi. Earth provides enough to satisfy man's need, but not every man's greed. Since we get everything from natural environment, at least for that sake, we need to protect it. Some eco-friendly innovations in civil engineering and construction industry I would like to share with you. So this is how our cities would have looked if all our building had vertical garden. So 745 cars emission can be corrected by going for a vertical garden of a building of this size. And now we have that self-healing concrete which is coming up. Let's see what is self-healing concrete. that is self-healing concrete. It will automatically heal, and once the crack is formed, the water gets in there, the bacteria will react and form enough to refill the crack. So now look at, see, there is a new invention happening in Qatar where they are making the roads painted with blue, and let us see why it is done. That is why they are Qatar is painting the roads blue in order to reduce the temperature. And let us see what is Tasty Concrete all about. So it will prevent water problems and drainage problems will be solved if we can go for Tasty Concrete. And now we need to think of waste materials, and we have to convert it into construction materials. So it is the right time to think of sustainable construction. Adoption of materials and products in buildings and construction that will require less use of natural resources and increase the reusability of such material and products for the same or similar purpose, thereby reducing the waste as well. Why does it matter? From energy usage to emissions, the construction industry has a huge impact on the environment. They use resources, generate waste, and emit greenhouse gases throughout their life cycle, which can be 50, 75 or more years. So we will have to go for water efficiency, indoor environmental quality, durable and maintainable design, energy efficiency, eco-friendly material we have to go for, and waste reduction we have to think of. So that is a environment cycle which we can look into. So how to make your building green? There are different ways. Now let's see a small apartment building where how we can make it green. Rainwater harvesting system on the roof can collect water to be used to flush toilet. Solar panels can heat bath water. Wind turbines on the roof can be used to generate electricity. Non-toxic paints should be used on the walls. These use water rather than petroleum-based solvents and do not emit smoke-producing pollutants. Use compact fluorescent light bulbs which uses 20% less energy than incandescent bulbs. Dual flush toilets help conserve water with controlled water outlet option. Use grey water from bath and sinks, kitchens and washing machines to flush lavatories. Energy efficient appliances reduce power use. Motion detectors can be used to switch off lights if there is no one in the room. High efficiency insulated glass windows reduces the need for air conditioning. A rain garden can help reduce storm waste runoff. Native landscaping require less irrigation and maintenance. Use compositing to reduce waste and help your garden at the same time. Most food scraps and biodegradable material produce nutrient-rich fertilizers, so that can be reused. Rainwater channeled into water buds can be used to water plants, or wash carts can be used, the rainwater collection system. Consider your home's orientation to the sun to harness energy or to shield it from heat. So this figure consciousness, this system, if implemented, energy saving in green building could range from 20% to 30%. Water saving from 30% to 50%. A green building can cost between 5 and 10% more to build than a regular building, but these costs can be recovered in just 2 years in power and water saving. So this is a new concept called modular construction. It is a form of off-site construction in which a building components or module are constructed in a factory setting before being transferred to the site for assembly. So we can speed up the construction, and speed of construction and environmental protection is a big aspect, because a lot of wastages are getting generated when we are doing at site. So let's see a modular construction. So in 15 days, they have constructed this 15-story building with total modular construction. So that is the technology for the future. Everything will be assembled in the factory, brought to site and reassembled there, and will be converted and will be done at a very fast pace. So there, the buildings are produced in modules, and when put together on site, reflect the identical design, intent and specification of the most sophisticated site build facility. Without any compromise, we can get it done. So the advantages are eco-friendly, greater flexibility and reuse, less material wastage, improved air quality, reduced construction schedule, elimination of weather delays, built to code with quality material, safer construction, and limitless design opportunities we have. So why we are not thinking of steel structures? It's a reusable material. Now most of India, we are having concrete structures. Now it is high time that we move into steel and prefab industries, which is catching up very well right nowadays. It's a reusable material, can be recycled repeatedly without any degradation in performance, and low waste credential. We could dismantle our structures without demolition if we are going for that. Now copper slags are available, and it has proven its efficiency in partition wall and road as a material replacing sand. So we can try this copper slag, which is a waste material and can be used in projects in order to replace sand, especially in construction of road as well as in partition works. For structural usage, the use of copper slag as partial replacement of sand in concrete is allowed for up to 10% by mass. So we can reuse that material. Now this is the mining waste, can be used as aggregate in concrete and also in manufacturing of bricks, tiles, cement, pozzolana, pigments for paints, etc. Insulation made can be recycled. Insulation material consists of polyester fibers that are thermally strengthened at 170 degrees Celsius. Production does not require the addition of chemical or organic binding agencies. The recycled material can be used as thermal and sound insulation for pitch roof, attics, ceiling, and walls. So this is got a wide application, especially where you need sound barrier systems. And better view and better light used to replace the traditional masonry and concrete wall. These are the curtain walls characterized by grids of infill materials such as glass, metal, granite, or a combination. Reduction in weight leads to saving in structure and foundation. Some innovative efforts to save the planet. Let's look into it. So I would like to discuss upon water bulbs, biodegradable plastic bags, sea bins, ocean cleanup system, airing in this session. Now let's see what is water bulbs. So this will replace all the plastic bottles which is carried now for waste. And again, a big thrust for the entire environment is the plastic bags. And now we are coming up with biodegradable plastic bags. Let us see how it is. So this is something which is very essential considering the huge plastic deposits which is happening in the ocean, and how to protect the oceans. Let us see the sea bin which is come up recently. that's one thing to protect this thing. And now the ocean cleanup system, because ocean is getting filled with plastic, they have come up with a new system to
1.8 trillion pieces of plastic float at the surface of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Here, the ocean cleanup is deploying the world's first technological solution to this growing problem. The principle behind it is simple. Create a coastline where there are none. Concentrate the plastic and take it out. The system consists of a 600-meter-long floater and a 3-meter deep skirt attached below. The floater provides buoyancy to the system and prevents plastic from flowing over it, while the skirt prevents smaller particles from escaping underneath. As the impenetrable skirt creates a downward flow, marine life can safely pass beneath it. Here is how the system catches plastic. The system takes advantage of 3 natural oceanic forces: winds, waves, and currents. Both the plastic and system are being carried by the current. However, wind and waves propel the system only, as the floater partly sticks above the surface, while plastic is primarily just beneath it. The system thus moves faster than the plastic, allowing the plastic to be captured. The skirt extends deeper in the middle of the system than on the outer edges. As the current applies pressure on the skirt, the system naturally adopts a U shape, which enables it to concentrate plastic in its center, like a funnel. The drag generated by the skirt also acts as a stabilizing force, allowing the system to reorient itself when the wind changes direction. And because the system, like the plastic, is free-floating, it automatically drifts to the areas with the highest plastic concentration. Fitted with solar-powered lights, anti-collision systems, cameras, sensors, and satellite antennas, the system actively communicates its position at all times and continuously gathers performance data. Periodically, a support vessel comes by to take out the concentrated plastic, like a garbage truck of the ocean. The plastic is then transported to land, recycled, and made into durable products. This is the first of a fleet of 60 systems. Once deployed, the fleet is expected to clean up 50% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch every 5 years.
That's the concept of ocean cleanup which is happening. And let's look into the one last of the innovative products which is coming in. This is the airing made from recycled air pollution. So from the pollution, they are making airing and are using it. We think we are the masters in engineering, and let's see what nature knows about engineering. Engineering from nature, so you have to look into the nature and understand. So this is a tree which is 3,646 years of age, and it's a Patagonia cypress, and a location in Chile. And what is the life of the structure we built? Maximum 75 to 100 years. So this structure is lasting for 3,646 years. And this is the age survey Abarcook, the tree, which is estimated to be between 4,000 to 5,000 years old. And is there any engineering wonder which sustained the trials of nature like this tree? And General Sherman is a giant tree located in California, which has got a height of 84 meters and 1.9 million ton. It is estimated that General Sherman is between 2,300 to 2,700 years old. 1.9 million kg load transferred through the simple system of roots. And ground improvement, yes, vetiver, which is extensively used for ground improvement. So this is especially for slope protection work. It is extensively used along with natural geotextiles like coir, jute, etc. This is extensively used and a very good material to stabilize the side slopes. The landslide in sloping regions of Kerala could have been avoided if this plantation technique. Now we are trying in lot many area in order to rehabilitate. And one good thing is that we don't have to go for concrete. We don't have to spend on rubble, and well properly compacted and with a geotextile layer, the seedings are provided. And once the roots take in place, the slope gets stabilized and it is very beautiful also. So similar to the fibers, which concept which is done. So here you can see that how it is being implemented for protection. So it acts as a fiber reinforcement also. And this is a 2000 years old tree in South Africa known as the tree of life. If they had the ability to talk, they would have explained how to adapt and tackle the environmental issues. So this tree was discovered in 2006 and is the tallest tree in the world, 379.7 feet tall, and have to face wind and lateral force similar to our high-rise structures. It has to withstand that. And so you can see that how tall is tall, and you can see that the buildings, the trees are even taller than Leaning Tower of Pisa, US Capitol, Statue of Liberty, Big Ben, and Hyperion. The tallest tree is taller than all of these. So tallest trees in the world are redwoods, which tower above the grounds in California. They can reach up to a height of 300 feet. A typical redwood lives for 500 to 700 years, although some have been documented to be more than 2000 years old. So amassing insights of load transfer is something which you have to look into the nature, reimagine, restore, and reuse. So the concept we have to think in, and we have to learn from the nature and adopt it in our construction practices also. So here you can see 3,600 tons of loads getting transferred, and simple load distribution mechanism. Here you can see how the load is getting transferred, and stability against slopes, more roots on the slope slide in order to prevent this overtoppling and to bring in more stability. Again, you can see how in the slope it is standing and how the roots are being formed. So good engineering principles we can observe and learn from that. And you can see here it's not allowed to, simple rough foundation has been formed to distribute the loading system. Then you see how the roots are grown and spread in the constrained environment where it is. Again, the concept of roots getting spread and balancing the loads. Dealing soft soil also, you can see that how the roots are formed in and how to tackle it, and it is able to come up in very soft clay nature. The roots are made extensively and spread, and the lateral spreading is happening, and the load is getting adjusted. Even in soft soil it can be building, and here you can see in the loose soil how the tree roots are readjusting itself to tackle on. And to shallow depth, coconut tree is a wonderful example. And how tall it goes, we say if it is more than 12, it becomes a long column. How slender is it? And again, the wind and this thing, it's withstanding that. So the forces, the fibrous effect is played. It's not a stiff column, but it's a fibrous column, and it is able to withstand. And the unsupported length is so high, and it is still able to manage. So as good engineers, we have to learn from nature and adapt to that. You can see the cantilever system happening, how the roots are there, and the structure is getting cantilevered on. So here the concept of propping. So propping system has come in, where the tree itself, once it grows bigger, larger, the additional propping system is being done automatically. And nature is a great engineer, and we have to learn from nature. So civil engineers, yes, the civil engineer in working, you can see constructing its house, beautifully done. The big nest, this is social viewer birds, known for building the biggest nest in the bird world. These places are capable of housing hundreds of birds for several generations, and can be as large as 25 feet wide and 5 feet high, and it weighs over 1 ton. Some nests are known to have survived over 100 years. These nests are found especially in South Africa, in African Asia. And again, look at that. A high talented engineer in work. You can see how precisely how the work is being carried out. And let's see how the beaver construction is done A dam construction is done by a beaver. The concept of arch dam is being created by a beaver. Let us look into that.
Beavers are vegetarians. They gnaw through bark to eat the sugary layer underneath. They've been gnawing through forests for 20 million years. Felling trees with your teeth takes great strength, skill, and patience. One technique is to slice halfway through and let the wind do the rest. The beaver's incisors are strengthened with iron, which makes them orange. They grow continuously and even self-sharpen. The pond makes it easier to move around the heavy logs they need to build their dams. Out of the water, it's a struggle. Stones help weigh down the base. The whole family works together, carefully interlocking the timber. They dredge mud from the pond bottom to seal the dam. Each pond traps several inches of sediment every year, so there's plenty of it. The young act as apprentice builders, learning the tricks of the trade. The final results are impressive. In the Rocky Mountains, beaver dams slowly filter billions of tons of water. The ponds build up soil and nutrients and help prevent floods and droughts.
So arch dams being built by beaver. So you have to look into the nature and learn from that. And can the planet be protected? Yes, it is up to us to do that. So let's look into this. This is a Versova beach in Mumbai, and this was the stage of the beach. And let's see how it is made into this by a one man, and let us see how it happened.
This is the story of how one man's actions can change the world. This guy cleaned the most polluted beach in all of India.
Hi, my name is Afroz Shah.
Want to hear all about it? Let's go. 5 trillion plastic bags are used each year. And 1 million plastic bottles are bought every minute.
All these plastic bottles and bags land into the ocean. And to be precise, 13 million tons of plastic land into the ocean every year.
You see, all this plastic from the oceans ends up on the beaches, just like this one. And this is exactly what happened at Versova Beach. It looked more like a landfill rather than a beach. So after watching his childhood beach drown in trash, Afroz decided to take action into his own hands. With the help of so many amazing people, Afroz managed to pick up more than 5 million kilograms of trash in just 3 years. Wow, that's crazy. They managed to turn this into this. And then an amazing thing happened. Life returned onto this beach. Turtles came back to the beach after 20 years.
I personally guarded the turtle nest when the turtles appeared on the beach.
And people returned too. People could finally enjoy their beach. For his amazing work, the United Nations awarded Afroz Champion of the Earth Award. Originally, Afroz is a lawyer. From Monday to Friday, he works here as a legal counsel.
But my personal journey is different. So I understood one day I had to do something for my childhood beach, Versova. So there was 5.5 feet of plastic on this very beach. Initially, I started picking up the plastic trash alone.
1 became 3. 3 became 5. 5 became 20 and turned it into the world's largest beach cleaning operation.
We started in 2015, and from then on, hundreds and thousands of volunteers joined up in the beach cleanup.
They're picking the trash with their own hands, then put everything into these plastic tubs and take it away from the location with the help of tractors and excavators. Hundreds of people are joining these cleaning campaigns every single week from all around the world. And even kids have a great impact. Volunteers are cleaning not only Versova Beach, they are also working to save other beaches like this one, the Dana Pani Beach, as well as polluted rivers and canals. It will take years to clean the polluted Mithi River. Millions of people are living along this river and it's 18 kilometers long, but it's not impossible. How many people are joining your cleaning campaigns?
It all depends on where you are. If you are at a very big flashpoint of pollution, then you invite more people. But I personally feel the lesser number of volunteers, the better the work is.
Do you have any similar projects?
For me, this is not a project, it's a date with ocean. So I don't know how many times you want to date.
Have you done any cleaning projects in other countries?
Yes, I have cleaned in North America, cleaned in Malta, Sochi, Norway, India, a lot of many cities. So the idea is to go clean and provoke others to do the same. See, I'm not going to be there permanently. So what you start, somebody must keep on continuing doing.
And it's not only beaches that need to be saved.
Plastic pollution hits the marine species. Birds swallow it, fishes ingest it. This work which we are doing is a continuing mission to protect them.
Wow, this guy really is making the world a better place. So if you like Afraz's work, please promise me to never litter, always pick up your own trash, and share this video with your friends.
So what I can do before consuming anything, think twice whether it is necessary. Use only judicious amount of natural resources. Whenever possible, reduce the use, avoid wastage, completely avoid one-time usage items. Before leaving a room, switch off the fans and lights. Attend the pipe leaks immediately. Do not waste food. Avoid using plastic bags. Use public transport systems. Plant more number of trees and take care of them. So today being the World Environment Day, let us preserve the world, and we still have a lot to learn from our mother nature. Let us promote eco-friendly engineering. There are two gifts we should give to our children. One is the root and other is the wings to fly. Thank you all. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
Dr. Anil,
Yeah.
you have shown that the nature engineering,
Yeah.
how that the trees are able to such a load transfer to Earth. Is it possible by humans to do such a type of by using our existing materials?
Yeah, in our construction industry also, now there is a lot of innovation happening and a lot of fibrous materials are coming into the field of concrete along with mixing with concrete, and more flexible elements are getting treated into the environment, so that into the construction industry. So there are fiber reinforced concretes coming up nowadays in large volume, so that they will be tensile forces will be taken care by them. So the trees are a good example where they can, the slenderness ratio can be overcome, and that good ductility they have will be helps them to maintain the equilibrium. So a lot of innovation and research has to go in for us to come up with products which will be more environment friendly and which will be more flexible and more towards the nature.
Yeah, even the fibers that we have to manufacture.
Yeah.
And we have to, extract from the earth.
Yes.
So different materials, if we are going for new materials, which again will be extracted from the earth by mining and all. So that is not going to affect, pollution, environmental pollution, all those things may arise again.
Yeah, so that is where I have shown that video of that copper slag and fly ash and all, because these are elements which are produced by human being, and it's a waste material. So we have to convert into that. So our concept manufacturing of cement, steel, etc. produces a lot of waste material which we have to recycle and reuse. So we have to prevent the mining. So even if nowadays what is happening, even the building waste are now converted into aggregates, so that we can reduce the consumption of natural aggregates and we can use it for secondary jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that has to be followed actually to make it.
So that sort of awareness we have to create among the civil engineering fraternity, so that they can start thinking and do and innovate that and make it more realistic into that.
Yeah, using waste materials.
Yes.
So
The participants, any participants who got a questions, you just raise your hand. I'll, virtually you have got a reaction to raise this hand like this. You can raise your hand so that I can unmute you and you can talk to the speaker.
I have two questions, Anil sir.
Yes, sir. Keshav sir is
Uh,
correct.
yeah, actually, modular construction, you said like they are the better option.
Yeah.
So, how strong they are, and whether they are going to sustain even during earthquakes?
Yeah, the modular construction is something which is getting very catching up in the worldwide market. And we have done a hospital project. It's a 250-bed hospital in a very remote area in Kerala. And we constructed that entire operation in 3 months' time. So everything was fabricated by the time we completed the foundation and constructed the first 2 floors were the operation theater and everything was there. It was made fabricated in the factory. And within 3 months, we were able to complete that 250-bed building. Now, the benefit is that it is all pre-planned and repetitive use, so we don't have to change that. The strength can be obtained if you plan it properly and the interlocking connections are made properly, so there won't be any difficulty in getting the modular construction. And being a steel element, it is more ductile and will be able to withstand that.
Okay, the second question is, like you showed actually in the Qatar roads, they are using blue paint, right, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why blue paint? Why not actually white? White, I feel like white is more, it won't absorb more light, right? Compared to blue light. Yeah.
Heat will be more absorbed in white, but while driving, it might have more radiation problems to the person who is driving in. And that is why they have gone in for the blue color paint.
Okay. So compared to white, blue is better, I guess.
Blue is better was the study, what their study has proven, and they have gone for that. In fact, I also had asked this question when I first saw this video.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was very nice presentation.
Thank you, Kaswali sir. Yeah. Any questions?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, as in the discussion, it is said that we have to use a sustainable materials.
Yeah.
Sir, even the copper material or the copper things that what we are using may not produce any pollution while using, but they are being with some pollution while they are manufacturing.
Yeah.
Sir, the next thing I had is, sir, while manufacturing and these copper things, it's going to use many water miles.
Yeah.
Sir, how a copper material going to use the larger water miles than the like the steel and all, sir?
Yeah, now the problem is that there are already so much of waste material like copper slag has been formed. So the concept is that in order, anyway, it is a waste material which is available. And if you look in India, we have, say, because power is a need. So over the years, we are moved into thermal power, and we are, because hydropower is very difficult to generate. And there are huge volume of fly ash available. And like the similar way, the copper products are needed for the human society to move forward. So they create copper slag. So the concept is that copper slag, we will take it and reuse as a coarse aggregate, or for some mixing or road work we are using. Now fly ash is extensively used in the manufacturing of PPC. So there is a 25 to 35% replacement of limestones are happening, and we are able to save our resources because of that. So if you think on a critical line, yes, the fly ash manufacturing itself is an environmental problem, but we need power, electricity, and on. And we need cement, steel, etc. is needed for the growth of the human, of growth of the world as a whole. So that is a needed requirement. But then it creates waste material, and we have to reuse that waste material for our advantage. And recycling process has to be done according to that. We cannot totally give away with the basic product manufacturing system, because we need power, we need electricity, we need cement, we need steel. All those things are requirement as the human civilization grows forward. But we have to think of the environment and try to reduce the impact. So by adding fly ash, we are saving the consumption of limestone, we are saving the heat of hydration, and we are reusing the waste material. So that is where the green consumption or environmental impact come into being. So it's a balancing act we have to get together.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So anybody else has any questions, you can raise. You can raise hand and we will unmute you and you can ask.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Disconnected, sir. Disconnected, sir.
No, I am
Yes,
here.
sir.
only.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Kuladeep, go ahead.
Yeah, Anil.
Yeah.
So we have learned a lot from you, very, very new things, innovative products, so many things that we were not aware. You have shown very well, excellent videos and explained about those things. So your presentation made us, a lot of learning, many new things, innovative products, and how nature, the nature, these animals, birds, how they themselves are doing engineering, like, so there are a lot more to learn from the nature, actually, by civil engineers, and observe well, and we can also those principles can be implemented like means we have to develop using very whichever materials will be useful for such type of engineering, and see that those materials, like you said, waste metals are very to be used actually to reduce the environmental impact, pollution and all. So really very interesting. I thank you very much for accepting immediately when I asked you to give us one speech on this environmental day. Okay, so you're very good team. So very nice of you to see you after almost 30 years. We were we completed BE in Surat NIT in 1991, and this is 2021, 30 years.
Yes.
Okay, and last year, fortunately, I met you when you were giving lecture in other program. So that time, first time after we left college, first time I met you. So it was very nice and very nice meeting again in our for our college program. So in future also, please we your cooperation in other any programs required. So please you can give us some you are very talented and very experienced, and you are involved actually in many activities. So practically so many things. So please give us also in future also be associated with us and give some lectures. Okay, Anil sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And sorry for the technical glitches, because it's certain times networking and everything become a big issue for us to log in and start on. But anyway, so you are able to continue it. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And we will keep definitely in touch. And thank you all for listening patiently to the session.
I also
hope
feel
you will
sorry
be able to make a difference. Yeah, to the
I also feel sorry to make all our valuable participants, for a long time to start the program. The other speaker was unable to join. So please, very sorry. We apply the organizers. We apply for that. So please, pardon us for taking off your time. We are very sorry. And okay, and now I request Kuladeep sir to propose vote of thanks.
Yes, very good afternoon to one and all. I take immense pleasure in proposing vote of thanks for having been made this event a grand success. Even after a lot of technical issues that has fallen forward, still we could able to overcome that with the help of the speakers as well as the participants. And yeah, for sure, this sort of technical issues maybe are supposed to happen. Many, I mean, usually happens, but this time we have overcome with all the support from the participants as well as from the management and from the speakers as well. So my heartfelt thanks to Honorable Chairman of Sri Vidyaniketan Educational Trust, Dr. M. Mohan Babu Garu, and reward CEO of Sri Vidyaniketan Education Trust, Vishnu Manchu Garu, for their encouragement and support to organize this type of webinars, which benefits academic community. And so I extend my warm thanks to respected advisor, Dr. Venugopal Reddy Garu, and respected Director of Finance and Administration, Mr. B. Ravishekar Garu of Sri Vidyaniketan Educational Institutions, for their encouragement and support in conducting this national webinar. I extend my heartfelt thanks to respected Principal Dr. B.M. Satish sir for his inaugural address and appreciation of presentations by the eminent speaker, Dr. Anil Joseph sir, and there is other speaker who could not able to make it because of this technical issues, Dr. C. Velan sir. And I extend my warm thanks to respected Director, Academics and Research, Dr. P. Giridhar Reddy sir, Sri Vidyaniketan Engineering College, for his constant encouragement in organizing this type of webinars. And I profusely thank our speaker of today's session for his motivation speak and his, the very word of for clearly expressing the idea of the theme behind this World Environment Day 2021. That is reimagine, recreate, and restore. And I extend my my wholehearted thanks to respected participants, delegates, faculty members, my colleagues, research scholars, and postgraduate and undergraduate students from various reputed institutions who have actively participated and supported us in all the directions and made this event a grand success. I extend my warm thanks to Dr. Hemadri Prasad Raju sir, a convener of today's event, and Dr. M.M. Keshwulu sir, Dr. N.M.G. Kumar, and Dr. Lelita Rao, and at last the volunteers of NSS, as well as the student coordinators from Social Entrepreneurship, Swachhata, and Rural Engagement Cell for making this event a grand success. I once again thank all of you for joining us, and you'll get this. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, feedback link, did you share, sir?
Yeah, we'll share the feedback link in the WhatsApp group, sir, so that every participant can submit the feedback, and automatically the certificate will get generated and sent to the inbox. Okay, thanks for joining, sir. Thank you very much.